This is a big day for me. Sorry for the wobbly camera. I have my I have my camera up on a tripod here on the desk. Yeah, I just want to jump on here and hang out. And like I said, I've never tried vertical lives before, so I am new to all this. But I'm excited to be here. I just wanted to chat about what you're seeing on YouTube, what I'm seeing on YouTube, and get an idea of what matters to you guys. I'm working on some new video ideas, planning out the next couple months of content. So I figured I'd go live while I did some of that. So yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts or ideas. And again, welcome to those of you who are just popping in. Yeah, first vertical live for me. I've obviously gone live on YouTube quite a bit, but never off of my phone in the vertical live format. So you'll have to let me know how it looks. Let me know how it sounds. I'm just using the microphone off my phone. Hey, welcome from Ireland. It looks like good to have you here. It looks like we're finally reaching a couple people. You'll have to let me know how you came across this on the YouTube platform. I don't know if it sits in the middle of all the videos, like as you're scrolling through the homepage, or if it shows up on the short shelf. I'd be curious to know how you found the live here. I can see your little chats coming across the bottom, so hopefully I can talk to you guys there. Again, sorry for the shaky camera. I'm trying not to bump my desk too much. But yeah, like I said, I'll mention it one more time. This is my first vertical live. Oh, a notification. Oh, very cool. Well, thanks for having your notifications on. That's very cool. So you guys all got notified. Okay. Hey, Mr. Cody. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, this is my first vertical live. So I've never done this before. It's actually pretty easy. I'd be curious to know. Let me know how it sounds. That's probably one of the biggest things I'm curious about is the audio. I have no idea. Sounds good. Just got the alert moments ago. Yeah, welcome Paint and Sound. Welcome Living with Parkinson's, Jojo Moon. Good to have you guys here. So I was just going through some things on the back end of our channel, looking at some of the videos we've created, and I'm just working on coming up with some new video ideas. And so I'm very curious to know if there's anything that stands out to you guys. I have a little bit of a Easter egg here right in the back. I've been doing a bunch of testing. Cody, our editor, and myself did a bunch of testing this week on microphones for YouTubers. And so that video should be coming out this upcoming Monday. And I am very, very excited. Very excited to hear what you guys think about that. So we have a bunch of data right there. Here, I'll turn you guys right here. I'll show you. These are all some of the mics that we tested over this last week. So you'll have to tune in for that one. It should be a pretty good video. It's a little bit longer of a video, but packed with some good testing and information. Unfiltered through our lens says, your mic isn't working right. Definitely going through the phone, not good. Sorry to hear that. Not sure why it sounds good to some people and bad to others, but like I said, this is a test. Just learning here. So I was going through, sorry I keep getting off track here. If you guys have any questions, also feel free to ask questions. I said this would be a Hangout and Q&A, so feel free to ask any questions that you have. I'll get to them here. But I'm just chatting through and talking through some video ideas that I've been having. We've recently published a video about the YouTube algorithm. Fairly recently published a fairly big video about thumbnails. It's been a while since we've done one about getting subscribers, so I'd be curious to hear if you would be interested in doing something or watching a video like that. But I think that could be a good topic that I'll probably do something on soon. I've been trying to do a couple more news style videos as well. I did kind of a little string of them here pretty recently, where one of them, probably the biggest one, I was talking about getting all of our monetization slashed, be based on the I'm gonna be given a microphone here. I don't know, how's this gonna connect to my phone?
You should.
I'll just connect it right in. Okay. Yeah. All right. Update here. We're gonna see if I can plug a microphone in to see if this makes it any better. Let me take it off my tripod here. I'm very curious to see if this works. This is one of the microphones.
It's a preview.
Yeah, this is one of the microphones that we tested. So let me see if I can get this in there. I don't know. Sometimes YouTube's kind of finicky. what works. Okay, you guys have to let me know. Did that work? Did the audio just improve at all? Doing some live testing here. I'm very curious to see if YouTube is going to let me swap over mics right in the middle of this stream. So let me know. Let me know if the audio sounds any better. If not, then it probably didn't work. But oh, they said yes. They said yes. It's maybe working. Herbert T Outdoors. Thank you. Yes, it did switch. Okay, it worked. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll clip it on my shirt and see if we can get. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so this is one of the mics that we ran through our testing. This is actually some of the DJI wireless mics, and I'll tell you, they did pretty well in the testing. I'm not going to tell you quite where they landed. They said keep the mic near your mouth. Okay, let me know how it is now. I just pinned it on my shirt. So hopefully that'll get rid of some of our audio issues. But yeah, like I said, I'd never done this before, so I didn't know if sometimes the phone audio is good enough if the room is dead, but it really just depends. A lot of times it depends on the platform you're on, whether you're streaming or whether you're just like recording a video. Sometimes it is severely different. So I'm glad to hear that it's a little bit better. Okay, what was I saying? I was talking about the monetization cuts. This is something that I actually got quite a bit of pushback on. I was a little bit surprised, and maybe it's because the title and thumbnail of the video was a little bit, it was marketed. It wasn't clickbait by any means, but some people didn't think it was accurately representing what was going on. I happen to disagree. I think I stand by that video, but basically, for those of you who didn't get to watch the video, basically what's happening is YouTube is implementing a new offering. They're doing like YouTube Premium Lite is what they're calling it. So I think YouTube Premium in the US is like somewhere around $15 for like a single user account. So the YouTube Premium Lite I think is going to be $6.99 or $7.99. And so I was really curious. I'd watched a couple other videos about this, and I was really curious to know how that would impact creators' earnings. So I did a deep dive on the back end of channel makers. We have access to kind of some of the people that we're working with, some of our students. I can look at their channels too. So I looked at a bunch of data across all of the different channels, and I found that most of the channels I looked at, in fact, I think it was 100, no, not quite 100, maybe 90% of the channels I looked at, they were earning significantly less from premium than they were just from regular display ads on a per view basis. And so I was a little disheartened to see that, but I mean, there's a lot to go into. You can go watch the video if you're really curious. Anyway, long story short, there were some people who came out and said, listen, I make more from premium than I do from regular ads. It probably won't hurt everybody that much. But we're seeing it roll out now. And so it's something that I'm keeping my eye on and that I'm curious to hear. If there's anybody here who's done a deep dive into their monetization, if you are monetized on YouTube, then I'd be really curious to hear if you've had any experience with that. Because like on channel makers, I think we have like a $4 or $5 RPM on this channel. And then for our premium viewers, our RPM was, I think, under $1 per 1,000 views, whereas our normal RPM for ads was like $4 or $5 per 1,000 views. So anyway, that is kind of sort of something that's interesting going on in the industry. We just had Ricky actually just flew out to LA. I think I mentioned it in a community post on the channel here fairly recently. Spotter, which is they're kind of like an AI idea generation, help with title and thumbnail kind of tool. We've been working with them. We really like their tool. But anyway, they did a competition where people could go on Spotter and submit ideas. And then I think they chose 9 creators to fly out. And they did a big round table with Colin and Samir, and April Lynn Alter, and I think John Yushai. So anyway, Ricky got to fly out, and then Ricky did individual meetings with all the creator winners. And so anyway, it was just a really cool event. I don't know if we got any pictures from it. I'll have to ask Ricky. Maybe I can post them on our community if we find those. But anyway, really cool event. There's a lot of cool things going on in the industry. Actually, I should probably mention this. So we have what we call Channel Makers Insiders. It's our free sort of email group. But we're working on, I don't know what you even call it, newsletter style thing where like once a month, not too often, maybe every other week at most, we are going to be sending out like YouTube industry updates, stuff that's going on in the industry that's relevant to you. So if you're interested in being a part of that, if you want to be on that list, it's not just emails. We actually have a private community just for our insiders that you can sign up for. and that's on the Circle platform. So you can go in and we post stuff there. You know, we'll have kind of extra free resources. That's where we post all that stuff. So if you're interested in that, go look at any of our videos in the description. You can get signed up. But anyway, all of these things that I'm thinking about, it's kind of on top of my mind. All of these things are getting packed into emails and sending out. They're going to be sent out to people. So again, if you want to be part of that, feel free. Someone asked the question. Awesome, cool name. Awesome says, what are your goals for YouTube? That's a really good question. I have, I think, multifaceted goals for YouTube, just because I'm so deeply involved in YouTube, talking about what's working on the platform, what's not. I can maybe share some of my personal goals on, like for my channel, and then maybe some goals that I have to help you guys. So for my personal channel, my goals on YouTube are just to publish consistently. I'm such a big believer in publishing consistently on YouTube, and I just think that that makes such a big difference. Whether you're publishing, you know, every other day or once a week or every other week, I don't know if that actually matters as much. In the beginning it might, just because you're learning faster, but I really believe in the power of publishing consistently, and so that's something I want to do better at. When I do YouTube all day here, you know, making videos and community posts and all these different things, it's hard. I found it to be really difficult to go home and work on my other channels in the evenings and on the weekends, because typically I want to diversify and think about something else. So that's kind of an interesting, unique thing. I want to better monetize my YouTube channel. My channel, I think, has almost coming up on 1,500 subs. So it's still pretty small, this one side channel that I'm actively working on. But last year, we ended up doing $15,000 to $20,000 in earnings off that channel from ads and affiliate and sponsorships, and so that was really cool. I want to do more. I want to diversify my earnings more. I want to see as the channel grows, I want to see more sponsorship opportunities coming in and then I want to take those learnings and I want to bring it here to Channel Maker. So that's one of my big goals for my smaller channel, is just to better diversify my earnings. Figure out new ways to grow there, and then take that opportunity to kind of compile all those learnings and bring them back here to Channel Makers to see if there's anything that I can help you guys with on your channels, whether big or small. I think that it's great to be able to actually be working on another channel and be learning and growing on that channel, and then bring those learnings back to this channel. And to some extent, we can do that with client channels and some of the people we're helping, but it's a lot easier when I have complete control over these channels. So those are some of my goals. For the Channel Makers YouTube channel, one of my goals, it's been a goal for a while, is to continue growing the baseline viewership. Many of you guys know that our viewership has changed a lot over the past couple of years for a lot of reasons. But regardless of all that, I want to improve the baseline on this channel. We're in a really unique situation where things are just different than they used to be, and we've talked to a lot of creators who are in a similar boat, and we're all kind of working together to see what we can do to grow these channels. So increase the baseline views on this channel. We've had some videos where we've shot past our normal baseline, but I just want to do a better job in figuring that out. I want to work with more of you guys, probably go live a little bit more this year. It's something that I'm not totally, it's not within my comfort zone to go live all the time, but I want to work on that. So, but yeah, overall, reach more people, help more people, take more opportunities to meet creators. That's a big one. I love meeting other creators in person. Recently, YouTube, for celebrating their 20 years, did Creator Collective meetups in all 50 states. So it was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got to go to a Creator Collective meetup here in Idaho. And I got to meet a bunch of other creators, some that I recognize, some that I knew, some large creators, but then a lot of creators who are smaller, lots of creators under 50,000, under 10,000 subs, who are just grinding out like everybody else. And so that was really, really cool. It's so inspiring to meet other people in real life who are trying to do YouTube, trying to learn, trying to grow. And so that was super exciting. I want to do more of that. Hoping to be able to attend Vid Summit later on this year. Probably not VidCon this year, but maybe Vid Summit would be great. That's always been fun. I've been able to go to Vid Summit the last 2 years, and it has just been so awesome. I would recommend it. It's quite an event. So anyway, that's kind of some of my goals for YouTube there. Herbert T. Outdoor says, interesting how their light plan coincides with forcing longer ads that you can't skip to the point of being annoyed, so you don't have have a paid plan. Yeah, I've actually noticed that Herbert T Outdoors, kind of back to the YouTube Premium stuff. I have noticed a lot more ads, and I do wonder if it pushes people to their subscription model. It is really interesting, though. I mean, they must be making money off of it. I just think that, not to go totally back to that conversation, one of the biggest problems I had with all of this is when you hear a lot of people talk about YouTube Premium, when you look at a lot of the marketing around YouTube Premium, it really feels like YouTube has really tried to message it in a way that it feels like it's still benefiting creators, which to some extent it is, because without Premium, then those people or without YouTube splitting the Premium revenue with us, then Premium viewers would be $0, right? It would be no money for a creator, and for people who would just use an ad blocker, but if YouTube Premium was offered, then that's a little bit of a better option. So I do think that it's probably better than nothing, but at the same time, I think that their marketing is just a little bit off, and it really makes it feel like when I take, whatever my split. So like, let's say YouTube Premium costs $14 or $15. Half of that, about half, should go to creators. I think the YouTube marketing really makes it sound like that half is going to go directly to the creators that I watch. And it does, but the majority of that half of that money that you spend on Premium, most of it's going to go to creators that you never watched in that month, just because of how YouTube splits the revenue. Basically, instead of, like, if I only watched 3 channels and I had, whatever, $8 to go around, then each creator should get a couple bucks. That's not how it works. Usually what happens, this is how YouTube says they do it, they put all of the money for creators into a big pot, and then they split it out based on engagement, like watch time and views and that sort of thing. So you are benefiting the creators you're watching, but it's on a very minuscule level, because there are so many other creators out there most likely getting way more watch time than especially the small creators that you probably watch and support. So I don't know, it just feels a little bit off to me. I get what YouTube's doing. They don't want people to feel like that their favorite creators are getting ripped off. I just think that they could probably market it a little bit better. It would feel a little bit more honest to me. So that's kind of where that whole discussion started, and why I ended up spending a couple videos talking about it. Okay, what is the focus of your channel, from Victor? Well, this channel, Victor, I don't know if that's what you're asking. Obviously, Channel Makers YouTube strategy. My other channel that I mentioned a little bit earlier, my personal channel, is in the finance space, personal finance. And so it's something that I have a passion for. I love doing budgets and doing other personal finance, like pretty basic, simple investing type stuff. So that's where I'm growing that channel. It's a tough niche to grow in, but it's been so fun to explore and to chat with other creators there, and to engage with other people in that space. So that's where I'm at, and it's been really, really cool. Really cool to grow there and see the success of that channel, even though it's pretty young. And so I actually do have some videos on Channel Makers about that, where I've kind of recapped like earnings. I think my 2024 earnings, I did a recap here on Channel Makers. So you guys can go check out those videos if you're interested. Victor also asked, what's the best way to engage a guest when you go live? Should I have tech support person to screen and point out the questions posed? That's a really good idea. I don't typically do that, and you can probably tell. But yeah, having a person that can kind of help guide you to the questions that are being asked, making sure that you don't miss questions. I mean, that's something that on this live I have no idea. I can scroll through the questions, but I very well could have missed some. So if you do have somebody that could sit there and do tech support for you, make sure that your audio is good. Like Cody came in and he's like, hey, let's try this microphone right now, which was just cool. So if you can, that's really, really cool. If you don't have that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It kind of depends on how your lives are structured and what your audience expects from you. But when you're going live, people expect something a little bit more raw. They're probably expecting something a little more authentic and not as highly produced. So if you'll see me kind of leaning in and kind of squinting and reading the comments here. That's not like ideal. I would probably not do that in a regular Channel Makers video, but I don't really mind doing it here. I think that this is fine, because you guys are asking questions in real time, and I'm trying to read them and get them answered. So really good question. Yeah, if you have tech support, like somebody like a family member or a friend who would do that for you, I think that's a great idea. It just keeps you a little more organized. It is really nice to have somebody listening on the other end to check your audio and video feed. Sometimes if I'm going live by myself, like on my computer, I'll have my live on my computer, but then I'll put in like a wireless earbud, and then I'll have my phone set up over here so I can listen to the live back while I'm going live on my laptop. And that's a little more tricky, but it gives me a good idea of how my audio is coming through, how my video is coming through, and I can just double check it on my phone to know that my audio isn't muted or something like that. Or if I do a screen share, I'll screen share on my computer, but then I can check on my phone to make sure that it's actually coming through. So there are some ways around it if you don't have anybody else to help you. But that's a good way to start. Yeah, great question. All right. Righteous Monkey says, think the self-certification program is sort of flawed. Every once in a while, I'll have a video that turns to a yellow $ icon. That's always tough to deal with after the views start rolling in. Yeah, it's not a near perfect system by any means, because you're right. Sometimes you might get that limited monetization, even if you're pretty confident that there's nothing in there that should limit the monetization. And especially, like you said, once those views start rolling in, it really hurts to see the limited monetization. So that is probably something that YouTube could work on. I think the problem is, I can't say this for certain, but I have a little bit of a hunch. When YouTube limits a creator's monetization, I don't necessarily think that always means that the monetization has stopped for YouTube. So I just don't know how motivated they would be to fix that for a creator, because they could say, well, we're going to be careful and limit the monetization for the creator. I think it's possible that YouTube is still holding on to some of that revenue, or at least their half of the revenue, and then maybe they'll release out to you your other part later, or maybe not. I just don't think that they have a lot of incentive to make it better right now. It's probably one of those things that just kind of works for them, and so they keep doing it that way. Okay. Let's see. YouTube is generating a lot in terms of funds they are willing to share with creators. Yeah, that's good, and it's true. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining here about the YouTube monetization stuff. Could it be better? Yes, 100%. That said, YouTube is one of the best platforms for creators to monetize at this time. There are a lot of other platforms working on stuff. I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg has talked about improving monetization on Meta. LinkedIn is just rolling out a creator payment program on LinkedIn. And so there are a lot of other places looking to improve monetization. I know that the Meta Suite has been looking into that for a while. Still isn't really there, but I have heard of people making a lot of money on these other platforms, so it's something to watch out for. I've heard that Snapchat has been a place for generating a ton of revenue for creators recently, which is really interesting, just because it's been around for a long time. I hadn't really heard much about it for a while, but there's something happening with Snapchat right now. So there's a lot of different places to make money. I do think YouTube is one of the best. A big part of that is, especially on long-form YouTube, you can really get an audience who loves you and trusts you. And so then you can kind of diversify your monetization. You can do ads on YouTube, you can do YouTube memberships, you can do off-platform memberships, you can do affiliate marketing, you can sell digital products, physical products. So you can really have this whole sort of business structured around your YouTube channel, where the YouTube channel is the marketing side, and then it kind of feeds all of these different offerings that you have. So I think YouTube is the best for that. But there's a lot of other great platforms too. So probably don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's probably good to diversify out. That's why it's great to start like an email list if there's any reason for you to. Just because if you can have access to those people who like you without having to go through a platform, then that's always better. Let's see. Herbert T. Outdoors. Does your channel have any direct influence on YouTube? It would be a huge help to separate private playlists from public so the creator can use the private as research. That would be cool. Oh, sorry, I just bumped my mic there. That would be cool. Yes, Herbert T. Outdoors. Occasionally, we have worked with YouTube in the past and provided them feedback. We do have a couple lines of communication open with some of their product people. So that's definitely something I could put in a little word for. Let me just write that down here. Separate private playlists and public separate. I'm just making sure that I note this down. I'd be happy to pass that on as an idea for research. It wasn't probably more than a year ago. We were able to take an opportunity to sit down with Renee Ritchie, who is the creator liaison, YouTube's liaison,
for creators, and then also some of the engineering team. I don't think that was a secret meeting. I think we talked about it in a video. I think I can say that. But yeah, we occasionally we'll get to chat with them. I've chatted with Renee quite a few times. I know that just between multiple of us who are doing YouTube education on YouTube, we have at least a couple lines open. So I'd be happy to pass that on. Thanks for that feedback there. Let's see. You're welcome, Righteous Monkey. Hello, everybody. Anyone who's joining new, well, glad to have you here. Righteous Monkey says, I just make it hard for myself because my content's pretty edgy and raw. Appreciate the insight for us all. Yeah, that does make it a little bit harder if you feel like your content is sort of on the edge of maybe what's normally acceptable or sort of mainstream acceptable. Not to say that that's necessarily bad content. It's probably not. It's just that from an advertising standpoint, monetization standpoint, it does get a little bit complicated. Because YouTube at the end of the day is sort of responsible for what's on their platform. So I know they're a little bit careful about with that. Let's see, what else have we been working on? Oh, okay, this is something that I probably should have talked about a little bit earlier. This is something I'm actually really excited about. So many of you who have probably been around for a while have probably know about this, but maybe those of you who are new don't. So in the past, we've run what we call challenges. They're like a 10-day challenge. And we've run them on specific topics. I think we did one on getting better on camera. We did an ideas-focused one, like coming up with killer ideas for YouTube. And all these challenges run about 10 days. We were shocked to see the response to these. It's not often that we get like an overwhelmingly super positive response. But holy cow, everyone seemed to love these challenges. I think probably because of the way they were set up. So they were like 10 days long, so it wasn't super involved, but every day we would drip out a lesson and then an exercise that you would do every day. And then there was a community element where you could jump into the community and then post what you'd done that day, and then you got feedback. So there was this really cool feedback loop and really cool community that came. I know that there's some people who did those challenges who now meet with other people that they met. So anyway, all that to be said, the response was so positive. And people wanted more challenges, but it was hard for us to figure out a way to do that. But we came up with an idea for a monthly challenge subscription. So what we're doing is we're offering a new challenge every single month now. So they're going to fall probably around the 10-day. There are going to be about 10 exercises and 10 lessons in each of these challenges that you can do throughout the month, or you can do it 10 days in a row. But there's also going to be the community aspect. But we're going to do a new challenge every single month, and we're doing pretty steep discounts for if you want, kind of like you would with Amazon Prime or any other subscription. If you buy multiple months at a time, you can work on specific things every month all year. Or if you just want to be a part of a specific challenge, you can always do that too, and then just join during that month. So anyway, we're actually launching this on Monday. This is something that I probably should have been talking about more on the channel, but I've just been so busy, coming up with more videos and doing other things and all this microphone testing that I haven't mentioned it too much. So if that's interesting to you, people have been really happy about it. I did put a link. The links are in all our descriptions, but go check out the link in the description on this live or any of our recent videos or in our community tab. I have more about them there. You can kind of see some testimonials and different things of people that like them. I don't know if I said this already, but we are doing introductory pricing since we're just launching this. So this is probably going to be the cheapest it's ever going to be. So again, a great time to jump on board if you're interested. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. People really like the challenges. We had someone in our last challenge reached out and said, thank you so much. They had, from one video to the next, they doubled their views. They went even more. Like they had, I think they were getting maybe 100, a couple hundred views. And then all of a sudden, after they had done the challenge and implemented some of the exercises, their video got like 3 or 4 or 5,000 views in just the first week. So I'm 100% big believer. I wish we had started doing these challenges a lot sooner. I think that it's just such an easy way to get bite-sized help on specific things. I think that when it comes to being a creator on YouTube, one of the hardest parts is knowing where to improve. And so a part of that cycle is just working on multiple different things, whether that's thumbnails, whether that's titles, whether it's engagement for getting more subscribers or more watch time. It doesn't really matter. You need to cover it all at some point. And so these challenges cover the most important things. And we've been doing this long enough on YouTube that we know where the biggest barriers are. I actually just did a post in our community today talking about asking you guys what your barriers are, just to see if there was any blind spots from our side. But Anyway, that's something I'm super excited about. Launching Monday, links in the description, so you can check that out if you are interested. If not, of course, keep watching the channel. You're gonna learn a lot and grow here. I actually met one creator at the Creator Collective. Maybe he's here watching this, maybe not. But he said that he had been following for years and years, following the channel for quite a few years, and had grown a very successful channel. We also teach blogging on another channel, and so he had grown a very successful blog, and he had never bought anything, but he was still really successful. So if you're not in a position, I get it, but if you are, this could be one of the things that makes your channel take off. I believe in it. I believe in it. So let's see if there's any questions here. Terry, just want to say I enjoy your last 2 behind the scenes videos. Don't know if it's too niche, but I'd love to see a budget live setup with a capture card and OBS. Yeah, Terry, I think that'd be a great idea. I've actually been looking into a capture card for myself, and there's a couple out there that are pretty cheap. It kind of depends on what you mean by cheap. I know that everyone has a little bit of a different opinion on that. I know that I'm pretty cheap, so I'm always looking for stuff like on Facebook Marketplace, you know, used equipment, lightly used equipment on eBay. But yeah, I think that could be kind of cool. We'll have to see. I'll do some research into the niche and into the topic to see if it's just a little too niche for the Channel Makers channel. But I think that that could be really cool. We had a really fun time. I think this last Monday we published our budget YouTube setup video, which was a ton of fun to make. We filmed on an iPhone, and we just used some cheaper lighting to make the setup go from super bad looking to super good looking. So that was really fun. But yeah, I've been enjoying that style of video too, so I'm glad you like it, Terry. Hopefully we can get YouTube to push those out a little bit farther. It's very different from like our typical YouTube hardcore education type stuff, so I don't think YouTube quite knows what to do with it, but I think we're going to start doing more of that content, so hopefully it'll get a little bit more popular. Awesome says, question, tips for making good YouTube videos. Yeah, I can come up with a couple for you. Number one, I think it all starts with the idea. You have to think about your audience, like who, when I say your audience, you might think, well, I don't have an audience. That's okay. Think about who do you want to watch your videos. That's your audience, right? And so you think about what do they need? What do they want? What are their trials? What are their problems? What makes them happy? You want to think about all of these questions, and you want to kind of create and mold this one specific person who's like your ideal viewer. And when you do that, you'll have a really good idea if your idea for your video is going to appeal to that person. And so when you're making an idea, a video idea, you may come up with a lot of different video topics, but a video topic doesn't necessarily mean video idea, right? We want to talk, when I say video idea, I'm talking about something that is interesting, that could make a good title and thumbnail. If you don't have a good title and thumbnail, it's going to be really hard. Even if you have a great video, not having a title and thumbnail is really going to kill that. And so you want to, before you even start making your video and planning it out, think about the idea concept first. An example that I'll give of this, I gave it a little while back, but we have an outdoor kind of DIY project channel that we're working on, and they wanted to do a video about building a chicken coop on this channel. And the problem was, when you look across YouTube, there are tons of videos where people build chicken coops. So we wanted to take a little bit more of a unique angle on it. And to be honest, I'm not super involved with that channel, so I'm not totally sure where it landed. But one of the ideas that I had was to build out a DIY smart chicken house. So kind of taking the idea of chicken coop building, but then making it really smart. That was kind of my idea. So you could put solar panels on it. You could put security cameras in there, like automatic doors, automatic feeders. You know, that's just a little bit different than what everyone else is doing. And not to say that that's like the perfect idea, but it's just different. It's actually like someone they could look at that kind of scrolling through YouTube, and they could be interested in clicking on it. And then from there, of course, storytelling, including storytelling elements in your videos. Usually that comes by way of B-roll. Having good B-roll and voiceover can make a really big difference. Visually breaking things up, having graphics on the screen depending on your niche, or photos of stuff that you did. All of those things can make a big difference. So first of all, start with the idea, make sure that it's a good, interesting idea. And then from there, try and do your best to craft a title and a thumbnail that's interesting, that'll get people to click. And then once they click, it's your job to hold people on that video as long as possible. And so focusing on your intro, making sure that you do a really good job on your intro, making sure it's visually interesting, and making sure that you keep people curious. All of those things are what you want to be thinking about in your video. And funny enough, none of the things that I've talked about already have talked about the content, the actual specific content of your video. So there's a lot of different things you want to think about, but those are a couple, that's kind of where I start. Learned it on YouTube. I'm up for the challenge. That's great. I would love to see it in the challenge. We have a good one upcoming starting on Monday. We're launching that challenge. We're going to do a call on Monday with everybody. So pretty cool. Hope to see you in there. Afk Art, hi. It's great to see you here. Thanks for being here. Alex says, is the only way to be good on camera to make more videos, or is there some other things that I can do? Being on camera really helps. Being on camera and making videos really makes a difference, because when you're talking to a camera, it's just so different than doing practice, right? You could, like, they always say, talk into a mirror, right? Talk to yourself in the mirror. That can work, but it's not doing the thing, right? It's not the exact thing that you're going to be doing. So when you're talking to a camera and just practicing that, even if you never publish it, I guess that's fine. Although that kind of might make you lazy. Like when you go to actually publish something that you created, you're going to be a little more picky. You're going to want to practice a little more. You're going to want to be a little more confident, a little more engaged. So I don't think that there is anything better than just making videos. I think making videos is by far going to be one of the best things to get you better on camera. Watching other people and like actually watching the video, not for the content of the video, but watching their mannerisms. You know, if it's something, they do things the way that you like, you can watch some of their content and note some of those things down to try and emulate. But at the end of the day, I think just getting on camera is going to be one of the best. Yeah, hey, Mr. Cody says, unfortunately, nothing beats the repetition of actually doing it. And then it says, my brother's a good example. Yeah, so this channel, this side channel that I'm working on it with my younger brother. And when he started, he had never been on YouTube before. And I had been doing channel makers and some of our other channels. So I had a little bit more experience. I wouldn't say that I was far, far better, but a little bit. And it was really interesting to see him just struggle through the first few videos. He had his camera set up here, and then he had like a computer screen monitor right next to it. And what he'd do is he would put a script up. He would fully script out his entire videos, and he would just read it off the script. And so, or he would like read one sentence and then say it to the camera. We'd read one, and then he'd go like back and forth, and you could see that he was making cuts in the video like every 3 seconds, just to make it cohesive, I guess. But holy cow, it was so choppy and so many cuts. And then I think the next level of that, he's like, okay, I don't like the way that the cuts look. And so he found this eye tracking software so he could look at his computer monitor right next to the camera, but then it would like fix his eyes. He could like change his eyes to make it look like he was looking at the camera. But then he got these videos where he was just death staring the camera for 12 or 15 minutes. So those were kind of funny too. But then over time, we did video after video after video. We did 100 days, at least 100 days challenge of shorts. So he did half of those, so at least 50 shorts that he had practice doing, and we would do those one take. So we got a lot better of talking more comfortably. And then we've published, I think on the channel now, probably close to 80 plus full-length videos, and he's done about half of those videos, so 40 full-length videos. And the improvement that I've seen with him is unreal. Holy cow. He's so much better than before. He's a lot more expressive and just engaging and interesting to watch than before, where he was just like sitting, just kind of death staring the camera. It makes a lot of difference. So yeah, I agree with Cody there. Nothing really beats just doing it. But you can find other ways to practice being engaging. I mean, even just talking to people, right? If you're not someone who's usually out talking to people, maybe that is a great place to start. Maybe just engaging in conversation with more people than you normally do. That could be a great option. But yeah, there's a couple ideas for you. Afk Art says, I have noticed that there are a lot of advertisements which are aggressively lo-fi. I bet they did research and found out that is more popular and effective than very slick studio videos. Yeah, I've also noticed a lot of those ads coming up. I actually get quite annoyed with them because there's so many of them these days. Well, I don't really have much else to say today. You guys have to let me know how you like the vertical live setup. It is a lot easier to get going live here than setting up all these different things, OBS. Obviously, I can only just kind of talk here. I can't really share screen or do anything else. But you have to let me know how you like this format. Thank you for being a part of my very first vertical YouTube live. It's been fun. I'm glad that I did it. Big thanks to Cody for jumping in here and throwing a better microphone. If you want to hear all these this microphone and how it stands up to, I think, 11 other microphones that we tested this last week, you'll have to tune in for Monday's video. It's a good one. It's going to be really good. I was shocked to see some of the high quality mics that were cheaper and some of the low quality mics were more expensive. So jump in there on Monday. Hopefully we see you guys there. Thank you again for being a part of this live. And now I have to figure out how to end the live. I don't even know how to end this thing. We may be here live forever. Okay, there's an X up in the corner. I'm going to hit the X. I don't know if that's going to stop the live. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. If it does, we'll see you guys next time. If it doesn't, then I'm going to keep talking. All right, see you guys.